The hardest of welcomes to all of you. This is SctStarcraft. Listen to my deep, sexy voice of someone who has a runny nose, and I think that I might have a fever. Well, I'm quite sick, but either way I'm going to give you this match, and this is a final match between mouz CC MaNa, a Protoss in the upper left side corner of Ohana, and Strelok, a Terran in the bottom right, upper left, bottom right, yeah, these are the right directions. And so we can see them talking about something right now. If you haven't seen the previous matches, go and see them right now. There are 5 fine matches, and there are 5 matches instead of 4, because one of those matches ended in a draw, so the match had to be replayed, and of course that's why we have 6 games, and we can see MaNa building gateway with the next probe that gets out of his nexus. We can see Strelok building barracks right now, so very standard openings from both of those players. And well, there's some talk between those two players, and they seem to get along quite well, because these are not MaNa said that he's not after Korea yet. Well, at the time of playing those games this was true, but right now MaNa has returned to Poland, I think, yesterday or the day before yesterday, or the day before yesterday. He's back from Korea, and I think that he's going to Sweden in a few days, or even had gone to Sweden already, I'm not sure. Either way, the probe's going to see everything. There's a orbital command getting up right now. There's an SCV going to build another command center, I think. There are no gases yet. Yes, exactly, a command center being constructed. And there's an SCV going to scout MaNa's base. I think that MaNa should now accumulate some minerals for another nexus. Because, as we had seen in the previous game, spoilers, one basing versus Terran doesn't actually work. So he's going to be forced, I think, into an expansion, but he's not getting any minerals right now. Is he going to start the standard Zealot Stalker way? Yes, exactly, and he even chrono boosted the Stalker. That's well, that's quite important if he wants to put some early pressure, but this bunker with 1 Marine will be able to repel the Zealot and Stalker, because by the time they get to the ramp, this bunker will be ready and filled with 2 or even 3 Marines. I think that there will be 3 Marines. So well, that's not a good spot for MaNa, who only has exactly 1 base right now. At least now Strelok didn't block his nexus from being constructed, and MaNa starts it up. So well, Strelok, I think, had a better start in this game. Of course, as I said before, that's quite obvious, because the Terrans in early game have more freedom than Protoss. They can do with Marines which do not require any tech buildings. Exactly, we can see even Strelok building a reactor right now, and a factory. Are we going to see some kind of one-on-one build, or are we going to see some kind of early drop play? I do not know. Hellion openings have been very popular recently. As we can see, it's going to be such opening right now, because this factory is going for the reactor that's been built by those Marines. Hellions. I wanted to talk about Hellions for a second. Hellions are actually very, very strong units in the early game, because when the Protoss decide to expand in the early game, they have almost no units, and Hellions, with their quite strong attack versus light units, can destroy a lot of probes early game. Really, a lot of probes, and this type of damage is often irrecoverable. I can't speak English, really. This is going to be one of the last series in English I ever do, I think. those Hellions can do irrecoverable damage, and by the time that the Protoss replenishes his probe count, he actually loses. He actually loses to a strong either Bio Ball or perhaps some kind of 1-1-1 variation with tanks and Banshees, or even pure Banshees. I've seen those builds too. Not very often used in pro games, but still. Quite a good split, but is it going to work in favor of MaNa? I do not know. Several probes have fallen. We can see that 4 probes have been killed, and there's going to be a lot of more lining him up. Quite a good split from MaNa, but still 2 more probes destroyed. Another 2, another pair of probes, so that will be 9 probes killed right now, and that's a lot. That's a lot considering that Strelok hadn't lost anything. He hadn't lost anything this game, no probes lost, no SCVs lost, I'm sorry, and he also has mules. So right now his income will be, with these 2 mules, come on, it will be much bigger than Protoss income. At least I think that it should be much bigger, but it isn't. Still, with those chrono boosts, oh, MaNa's supply block, that's a big blunder. Okay, but still, double forge, we can see the Twilight Council. MaNa should expect some kind of Banshee harass, and he expects it correctly. We can see 1 Banshee here and second just next to it, so it will be a double Banshee aggression, and MaNa still supplied just now another pylon being built. Another 2 gateways, chrono boosted upgrades, very good for MaNa. We can see the Twilight Council. Is it going to be blink or is it going to be charge? Nothing right now because he had spent his gas, and we can see now those 2 cloaked Banshees attacking 1 probes going down. The sentries will go down. Yes, that's very large win for Strelok. Those sentries are very gas expensive units, and with full energy that's something that can't be replenished quickly. So that was a big loss, and MaNa actually prepares quite well. We can see 2 stalkers being sent here to defend the main, and that was a good decision. Strelok doesn't decide to engage those stalkers, even though with those Banshees he could destroy both of those stalkers, but he would have sustained some heavy damage to those Banshees. Still, oh, no energy for Cloak. Will this Banshee be destroyed? No, I think they have exactly the same move speed. No, Banshee is slower. Banshee is slower, so theoretically those stalkers could take out those Banshees if there had not been this pile of rocks and palm trees in the middle. Either way, there's a factory going to scout in Protoss base. There's an armory already prepared. Will we see some Thors, or what's the reason behind this armory? I actually don't know, but we can see a 3rd orbital command already prepared, flying to the 3rd, and we can see MaNa positioning his pylons quite well. This pylon had not been scouted by Strelok, and with this Zod he will be able to see whether there is a 3rd or not, and he might be able to do some damage. And we can see there's going to be a drop with 2 Banshees in the main of MaNa. He has no units here right now, and he's got quite a lot of tech here. No, but Strelok is going to be dropping in the bottom side of on the bottom side of MaNa's base, and there's quite a lot of units right now, and I think with storms, Strelok will not be able to achieve too much with this drop. All of his forces will be destroyed. Will there be a feedback on this medevac? It could have destroyed the medevac. Come on, feedback! No, but there's MaNa's Spirit being attacked right now. He's going to have to cancel. Yes, he cancelled it and didn't lose too many minerals. He's got a Templar with Storm ready. Will he feedback? No, he doesn't decide to feedback. But still, MaNa has sustained some heavy losses here. We can see that well, even though units lost is equal right now, MaNa has been forced to cancel his Nexus, so he's behind on his base, on his 3rd base timing, and well, he had lost quite a lot of probes. On this drop several had fallen before with the Hellion attack, even more had fallen. So MaNa's not in a very good spot right now. We can see one medevac moving out to harass this third once again. I would be amused if this factory landed somewhere here and started building Hellions. Some Terrans do that. But right now, before those ghosts get out, MaNa actually has a tech advantage. So if Strelok doesn't have any good EMPs, MaNa's going to be able to, first of all, destroy this third, and second of all, oh, the observer had fallen. That's quite a big blunder, because those ghosts will now be able to... No, they do not have cloaks, so no, that's not that much of a failure. And Storm destroying almost 2 Marines. What will happen now? Will these forces be enough to destroy Strelok's forces? We can see the ghost loaded up into the medevac. There are a lot of zealots, but on this ramp MaNa will not be able to destroy those forces. And we can see that MaNa is getting back. He had inflicted some severe losses. He had killed almost the same amount of SCVs in this attack that probes have been killed in the whole game. This Nexus will not fall. Zealots repelled those Marauders and Marine, and I think that 1 Marine had been killed. But still MaNa's holding on. He's not in a bad spot, but with all those constant attacks from both sides, MaNa will have to defend very well if he wants to win this game. I think that also he should now do some kind of tech switch for Colossi, because with this large amount of ghosts from Strelok, MaNa actually won't do much good with those High Templars, but we shall see. Will this medevac be finally destroyed? There's a lot of units and there's no blink just being started right now, so he will not be able to surprise this medevac. Yes, he will be able to surprise it. Strelok did not control his units properly this second, and we can see a double drop right here, and there's a whole army preparing to assault the third of MaNa. So we can see how we'll see how MaNa fares against this attack. But there are a lot of zealots warping it, and this army is going to move out right now. And yeah, it will destroy the Nexus in a few seconds. So we can see Strelok is going to evacuate, and this army will kill the Nexus. That's a large loss, very large loss, and quite a good storm, but it did not do as much damage as the destruction of this Nexus. If only MaNa had built some Dark Templars and harassed this base and even this base in the meantime, but we all know how expensive those Dark Templars are, so perhaps it's a better idea to go for Colossi. As I said, to tech switch, go for Colossi and do some serious AoE damage. We can see that Blink is almost done, so this should put a stop to those constant attacks from Strelok. A lot of Zealots and Templars moving out, but there are no observers right now in his army. Are there? No, there are 3 observers actually. There's 1 here. Where's my division? 2nd here, and a 3rd. No, it's not here, but still, those medevacs will be destroyed in a few seconds. There was a small, well, there was just 1 Marine trying to scout whether this Nexus is going up or not. And there's another Nexus. That's very smart from MaNa to build this Nexus, because I think that Strelok knows, and he will attempt to destroy this Nexus in a few seconds. But will he be able to do so? There are a lot of ghosts with a lot of energy, so a good EMPs will be able to reduce strength of MaNa's army quite significantly. Of course, Strelok's looking for observers right now. And how's this going to end? It's going to end in a few seconds, because I hadn't noticed that this was up, and this is a very bad place for engagement. A lot of EMPs, not such good EMPs, but still, all Zealots have evaporated. Quite good storms, and well, still, MaNa has not enough supply to defeat this army head on. I think some good storms, reinforcements of Zealots, but will this be enough? This will be very, very, very close. No, Strelok doesn't have enough. Strelok has to get back, but in the meantime, there's a force of Marauders going at this Nexus, but no, there's too many Zealots. They had managed to warp in a few seconds later, and and Strelok would have been able to destroy this Nexus, but no, this time he's not going to be able to destroy this Nexus, and MaNa has a 30 supply advantage right now with 1 Colossus and 7 right now High Templars, so he's got much bigger, much stronger force. Will he be able to destroy the remnants of... Very good storm! Very good storms! All of those units are in the red right now, one is in the orange. Still, those medivacs will fall exactly. Well, Strelok's crumbling right now. He's crumbling under the sheer strength of Protoss force. There are a lot of Zealots, Archons, Colossus, that's everything the Protoss has. He just... I think that he will just decimate Terran army and win this game straight on. I don't want to... well, I keep my fingers crossed for MaNa. This Cloaked Ghost inflicted some severe damage with the EMP, but still this will not be enough. 70 supply advantage for MaNa, and exactly, Strelok says GG. Strelok says GG, so MaNa wins! MaNa wins this series. MaNa wins this series and advances to finals, I think. I will have to contact imbalancja.pl for the next set of replies. For now, thank you very much for listening. Subscribe to my channel if you hadn't already. I promise I will not do English casts for some time. I know I suck at them. So once again, thank you very much for listening and see you in the next cast.